name, they will post there inside. Okay, so agenda for me is quite simple, and we talk about everything about Power Platform security because this is very important for many organizations. So we talk about the tenant isolations and access. We talk about the environmental access and the security strategy as well, the resource permission and the data policies. And then just next session is another speaker talk about DLPs as well. So I will don't take the thunder on that particular talk,
Arora,
but it's
sorry
pretty
to
good.
disturb you. I think it is not presented full screen, it seems.
Okay, okay, okay.
Half of this.
Okay, sure. Okay. Thanks for sharing. Let me check whether I'm on the. Okay, let me share my full screen now. Uh, Is it okay now? I think it's okay now. I can see
Yes,
that
it is.
it's
Yes, it
entire
is.
screen.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thanks for pointing out. Okay, so we talk about DLP policies, and then we talk about the data about security, which is something very important. Okay. Then I have 5 demos. So I want to, I don't know how much time it will take to, but at least I will share about what I can do right in this time. Um, First thing I talk about the 10 isolations and the access. So one thing which is very important, and again, all these demos I'm talking about, all 5 are real scenarios which I did with my customers and also with my organization as well. So it's pretty important to take note that these are real scenarios and nothing is made up. Everything's I have one with all my customers and my partners. Okay, stand isolation is something very important. We talk about all things, all fall 5, but today talk about this time, talk about tenant isolations and how we can secure um, our Power Platform from the tenant level, right? So we go to Azure AD, we go to the tenant, we go to connectors, and the last is the data security, but is the most important part, right? So we first secure on the tenant level, right? So there are a couple of options we can do. We can have something called as conditional access that only specific users can access the application, app or Power App or Flow. So we can manage the timeout and access. That is on the tenant level specifically. Then what we can also do is we can give shared access to the data, right? That is important. So we have this policy. And the third thing we can do for the tenant specifically is sharing the access with the external users, right? So it's possible that you have some Power Apps if you want to share with external people is possible, but with B2B collaboration only, not B2C. So I'm not into details on that, but just want to share that from the tenant specifically what we can do. In our demo, I talk about how we can do conditional access for specific app, and then only that user and that group only they can access. Nobody in the world they can see. So that is something is a tenant level which we have done for one of my customer. Okay. The second thing which is quite crucial is about the isolation, right? There are many ways that I can isolate that only specific tenants I can access. Um, why we have these things is because many users, many organizations have global organizations, right? So one tenant is managing US, one is managing India, one is managing Singapore, right? So each are different tenants, but they access the main good big tenant, right? So it's possible to isolate that one. So this is possible using tenant isolation, right? So we can have this example, we are using a Contoso with Fabicam. So again, example of US, Europe or India, we can have flows and apps based on what the user can access. Okay. And this is a very simple switch. It's just on off those things. We will see in my demo as well. You can see it. Okay. So first demo is about how we can secure at the tenant level, the one of the top level access. So let me show you how we can do it and what is the possibility to secure it. So I go here. I'm going to my Azure AD first. Okay. And I go to my uh, again as an entire tenant. So I go to Entra ID, that is a user ID. And what I want to do, I want to give access I mean, what is the use case? Use case says that I want to access only 2 users who can access that Power App. Nobody can see in that organization or outside other organizations. So what I can do, I can go something called as conditional access. So I will go to security tab. And then what I will do, I click on the conditional access. Okay, now I have done some ready-made things so that we don't waste our time in configuring. So what I've done, I've created a policy called as um, conditional access already that. So what I've done, step one, I have to create a new authentication context. Okay, you can assign a location, specific department. You can do whatever it is. For my use case, I'm just going to only the use cases that only the people can access only with Windows PC, no other access. So what I've done, I created a Windows PC configuration. And in this, what I have configured is that in this conditional policies, I have only mobile phones. So when I click on this configuration, what I'm doing here is that only the people who have access on the Windows PC, not on the app, only they can access. So what I have defined that there are 2 users. These are the 2 users who can access. No one else can access. That is, I'm done this thing. Second thing, I have defined the device platform, right? So what device I can do, I can block. I have to block because I've done the block access. So all the users who are accessing Android, iOS, Windows Phone, I don't know still exist in the world. I don't know, but Mac and Linux, they can't access. Only they can access using Windows Phone, right? And then I have done something as block access, which means the users who have this configuration, they can't access, I mean, device platform, they can't access. So what I want to reduce, want to share that only those 2 users, and also on that mobile app, they can't access, only on the Windows PC they can access. So that is something what I want to do and have secure it in that way. So this is something which I can do. I can do, so I have to do some PowerShell, but I want to save time for that. But let's see what happens if a user access that particular Power App. So this is a user. My name is Aro. So you see that 2 users were there, and Alex, these people. So anyone who has access to that particular Power App, they can access, except all the people in that organization. So I can create an application, I can define it, I can create new entries, I can delete. So everything is working fine. Now, I don't have a mobile phone, but if you want to configure it, you can get an error that your admin has put a conditional access that you can't access your mobile app using the Windows PC on the Windows mobile. You have to use a Windows PC only. So you will get that kind of error on if you go for mobile applications. So that is one thing we can secure that conditional access. First thing. Second thing, we define only for the Windows PC. Nobody can see it. That is demo. Second thing is about tenant isolation, right? So let me go back to my Power Platform tenant, and I see the tenant isolation here. Okay, by default is off. Okay, by default is off. I want to share that what you can do to turn it on. Okay, so I may give an example previously that there were some users from US, from India and Singapore. They want to share the applications in the different tenants. So I have this tenant ID. I can add more tenants from US and all. But if you want to have it is inbound, which means people from US, they can access can give access to the India and Singapore, but it's not vice versa. If you want to vice versa, you have to do something called as outbound and inbound both, right? So what I want to share with you that it's possible that you can define a policy or the tenant level that only from US people who are inbound, they can access both regions in India and also in Singapore, right? But if I define another rule that I want to define, maybe I want to define it again. Let's define it, add it. something happened to my tenant, but it's possible I can define a policies, a different tenant, and put policies for both inbound and outbound. So I can put Contoso or any I think I can put there. So that is something which we can do to secure your Power Platform environment. That is on the very high tenant level way we can do it. Okay, so that is something which we can do. Now I'm going to go to the next, which is slightly more important for any organizations. That is called as security for environment. Okay, so we have seen the tenant. Now go to environment strategy, right? And um, talking to many customers within Microsoft, outside Microsoft, every people have that issue about how to secure the environment. And environment, everyone in the world, Microsoft says that you can create an applications that is called the default environment. Okay, the problem with that default environment is that everyone can access and build their own applications. So it's a big headache for the IT, right? So for securing it, we have to control it. It's not we are losing the productivity, but we are controlling it because we have to control and secure our environment. So environment security is something very crucial. When you talk to many customers, they have many big issues with that. Okay, so let me share about what we have. So just a brief, what is a environment? Is a container. Let me, where is my, yeah. Is a container where you can have your all your apps and flow and security you can define. Every environment has a default environment. And that is a big issue right now because not everyone should able to create their own environment. Reason being is free flow for any persons. Same thing when you create new Microsoft Teams, everyone can create Microsoft Teams. So that is something we have to control it. So we show you how we can do it. And if the organization has a Dataverse, by default environment is Dataverse. So we can make available for specific users, and we can control the environment. That is very crucial. I'm just telling how many times in my discussion with my customers that Aro, we don't know how to create environments, and many people, around 800 applications are created, and IT have no idea who created the applications. So this is very important and big headache for IT right now for this, right? Now, I just want to share something very important is that when you create the default environment, everyone is a maker. That will just which means everyone can create apps and can delete application and flows, right? Now, developer, all the people who have access, they can access. The problem is that you can't share the applications, but in terms of actual environment, production environment, you always create some policies with a dev team, then do the staging environment and the production environment. So you must have at least 3 environments, and then you do development on the dev first, then deploy as a ALM process on the test environment, and then release on the production environment. So that is something very important that what is SG is a security group. People are saying SG is security group. So always add security group, don't assign users. I have seen many people, the companies left, the people have left, but the apps and flows are still there. And IT have no idea what to do, thanks to COE, which we can actually use it as well later on. Okay, so environment strategy is very important. I give you a real scenario. I have a customer who has a 45,000 users, and their environment have around 1,000 apps and flows, and they have no idea what's happening. This is very big customer. So first we have to environment create a strategy. How many apps should be created? How many users? And then we create a separate environment for them so that each application have access to those dedicated permissions, right? So dedicated permissions environment is required for that. So it may take at least 10, 15 days or 1 month for discussion with your end users about how, or with your stakeholders, how your apps to be created. Do you want to have separate groups and all? So it's very take time for that. Now, I want to give a very important aspect about environment access. I will give more time here because these are important demos right now. Okay, so let's go to second demo, which is about the environments. And I go to, okay, let's go to the my Powerwares environment. Now, this is the demo environment. You see, this is everything is using my own MVP tenant. Nothing much is here. I do a lot of testing and all, so you see that I have COE, Clarence, a lot of things I have, right? But I have also my own development environment. You see, right? The good and bad thing. Good thing that you can have access to all your premium connectors. Again, I repeat, if you have a developer access, you have access to all your premium connectors. The only issue you can't share with other people. That is a thing. Default environment is always like that. Okay, which has a everyone can create permissions, can create apps, so it's not very good. But main thing is to have isolate permissions, isolate environments. I can define a sandbox environment for my staging server. I can have a production environment for my real production environment and all. So environment is just think that earlier you used to have a dev server, then a production server, and then staging server. Same thing that, but again, here we have to give using Dataverse access in that context, right? So I click on my developer environment. And what I can do, I can create, let me go back here. Okay, so what I can do, I can I can delete my environment. Obviously, I can reset, which means it goes to all my apps will be removed here. I can make a backup. I can make a own entire backup, and I can enable as a manage environments. I'm not going to manage environments, and manage environments you need license, so I'm not going to that level here. But let's click on and our environment. What we can do here, right? We can see these all these things here. I can see the region. I can create what access I have. Okay, and the main thing I want to have a control here is that not everyone should able to create environments. That is a big issue. So what I can do, I can click on something called as developer environments. And you see, by default is everyone, right? So if you want to control it, what you do is create on specific admins. Now, what is a specific admins? Specific admins are the global admin, Dynamics 365 admins, and Power Platform admins, which means only those users can create environments. I repeat, only those people can create environments, not all the users. Think about you have 10,000 users and we have IT team has 5 to 10 users. Only those people can create environments. That is very important for environment to any organization to manage it. Second thing, I can also define that again, see production environment. I want to define only admins can do it. Global admin and also a Power admins, they can do it. Okay, and the trial environment. So not everyone should be able to create environments. So this is something very crucial, and this is also part of governance, that when you create lot of environments, it make a life very difficult for admins because they don't have any idea who will create the applications, and your entire Power Platform things is become a big headache. Again, a real example, I am working for one of the very large customer, and they have around 25 environments. All are default environment, all are separate environments, and the company has bought a lot of licenses, and they each one creating their own applications, and there's no control. So by emphasis here, because your Dataverse is a very crucial and is a high price as well. So if you want to use Dataverse, you have to manage your security and your money as well. Dataverse is not cheap, right? So when you create a new environment, you have to manage your users, that who can create environments, because when you create a Dataverse, it create a new environment and the cost is high there, right? So I don't want to emphasize that one. Please do environment strategy first with your business people, and then control it using what I'm showing to you. Not everyone should be able to create environments. Okay, that is something very crucial. I have seen from the hard way from many customers. So I want to give you all the important topics which I think that is very important for security from Power Platform. Okay, so that is my second demo. The third demo, I'm talking about the resource planning. Okay, so what is okay, this is our done. Yeah. So second is, now we have done the control your environment or the tenant. We have controlled the conditional access. I have also shown you that it's possible to control who can access the things. And third, we are going to, now all your makers are making applications, right? And maybe you want to share those applications to other maker or other developer, whatever it is. Now, it's possible that I can give access to my user. Example here, which is a pretty small font, but let's assume that there are 2-3 users here, right? And I want to give application access, again, application access on Power Apps to these users, right? 1, 2, 3 users, right? And when I click on share, they won't have access. They won't have access. Why? Because there are two aspects we have to take note here. First is that when you give access to your Power App, you have to also give access on your Dataverse or any backend system. Okay. Again, many customers have seen that they give access to the application, but then they ask me, Aro, the application people can see, but they can't see the data. Obviously, you can't see the data because data, you are not to put the security on that under Dataverse. So we talk about security in the last part. So having components access is very important, that because there are two aspects. One is the app or flow access. Second is your data access, right? So we have to give access on the both parts, app or flow, and also in Dataverse or on your backend system. Okay, so what we can do, we can have a control on our components. We can have added and shared, depends what permissions they have. What the ownership on flow, we can also define a specific users, what they can access. You see what the access, they can maybe click on that particular part here. So we can give add access to my share to my specific users. They can share it. And also I can give flow access to them. Maybe there are 5 people in my organization and they want to access my flow. So I can give an access to them, and then they can see the application. Again, I have to give access on your backend system, whether it's SharePoint or whether it's your Power Platform or sorry, Dataverse. Okay, and then depends on what permissions. Now I put something on bold here. Doesn't provide. Now, this is coming very common thing that users have this, they can access to the Power Virtual Agents, PBA and Power Apps, but they don't have access. So I showed you previously as well. User can access app, but you also have to give access on the data. Two things you have to do. So I'm just already rephrasing that you have to give access on to both aspects. Okay, so let me give you small demo on that. At least you have an idea how it works, and then we can see the thing. So we have seen about the tenant, we have seen our environment. Now we showing about the sharing and access. Okay, let's click on that. I have one app, right? So I can just click on that. So maybe I go to my Power App. I have an app which is called as a awesome food service. Okay, and this is, let me see what app does. And this app is about ordering. Like we have a lot of food items ordering application, food ordering app. So I can have some food where user can order. So I can just click on that. I can add the customer name, order name, food details, so on. So it's very simple app. But I'm not talking about app perspective. I'm talking about the sharing part here. Okay. So what I have to do, I have to click on my button called as on share, or I can click on my share icon. Anyways, I can do. I click on to share icon. So what I've done, I have because I'm the owner and 5 users want to access the application. So what I will do, I add a user, his name is Alex. And maybe I add another user. It's okay, this one app is here. And then that's just one user. Okay. Now, I can give this user a co-owner access, which means that this user, if a co-owner access, that if Aro is maybe out of town or is went for vacation or something, Alex, who is a co-owner, he can actually manage the applications. Okay, yeah. So the only one thing he can't do, he can't delete the applications or can't change the owner, right? Because Aro is the one who owner, then he's the owner. Okay. Second thing is the data permissions, right? So I mentioned to you, many users told me that ROI I can't access. They can't access because they don't have give access to the Dataverse, right? Now here I'm using SharePoint, so there's no issue. But I'm talking about when the user has Dataverse applications, then it will be big issue for them that time. So and SharePoint, obviously the user must have access to that. I mean, Alex must have access to SharePoint team, that particular environment, and then he can access an applications. One thing I'm going to give you another use case. If the Alex is not in the part of that organization, can he still access the Power App? Answer is no, because your backend give permissions. Your backend give permissions. If Alex have no permissions, but Aro give permissions to Alex, he can see the app, but all the data he can't see, right? Because there's no data there. But a skeleton app he'll see, but it's no data, right? So which means that if I want to give access, I have to give Alex the access to this particular site and also access to the app. Two things required. Once I do, then he will get an email and then the permission will be updated in the backend in the SharePoint. That is something which I want to share with you on this. Okay, so that is something which we can do. Okay, then what about flows? The same kind of concept applies to the flow. What we can do that I can just want to have a couple of flows here. Maybe just click on this flow, right? My weather. This is the Power Automate. Sorry, Power Virtual Agents Copilot app. So I want to share this application, right? This is the Copilot. Sorry, the Power Virtual Agent app. So I have to give access. Maybe I'm going outside, so I can give access to someone, right? So I can create maybe Alex again. I give access to him, right? You see, share permissions, right? So again, if you want to give access, you have to give that to the connection. The direct connection could be your API, could be your Dataverse, could be your SQL Server. So that's what is also giving a warning to you that although you have given access to Alex, ensure that he has access to that particular application. Right now, I know this is a very simple demos, nothing much, but if they don't have access to SQL, although app can seen, but they can't see the data. Right, something which I want to share with you. Alex. Okay, Alex Weber. I just click on OK, then you can see that one. Then is that connection, that data backend system, he can have reference for that. So that is again for Power Automate, Power Apps, Power Virtual Agents. You have to give permissions both at the app level and also on the data level. Okay, I have many issues with many customers, so I thought I will give this particular insight to you. When you give share and access, you have to give both sides. Okay, so that is the third topic I want to share with you, and this is a very important topic as well, but it's called DLP. Okay, so we have seen the tenant level, environment, and resource permissions. We have seen all three. Now let's go back to the connector access and the data loss protection policies. Right now, we have a very amazing session from Shruti in next session, but I give you just what DLP is for right now. Power Apps and Power Automate, they have a lot of connectors, right? And few connectors are third parties, and few are written by Microsoft, for example, Azure and other applications. But it's not about third party or native Microsoft applications. There are few applications we need extra access to your backend, right? Now, each organizations have access to your business data, right? Business example. One of my organizations are working for only for database SQL Server and SharePoint. They don't work on Salesforce, right? So I have to make that data sensitive, because that is, if user accidentally share that data, obviously it's a big mess for the organization, and although they will lose their stocks as well. So we have to ensure that the data we are ensuring is a sensitive data, and we have three blocks. One is the business data, that is the data can't be shared with other groups. Other groups means that it's inside the organization and also outside the organizations. Maybe I have working in a multi-regional company. I'm working in India, but I also shared the application with a counterpart in USA, right? So you can have sensitive data, maybe SQL Server data. Yes, if I have applied my policies into DL policies, that's something very important. The second thing is about the non-sensitive data. Non-sensitive data is something which is okay, no issue, but doesn't have any sensitive things. Example of using Outlook. No, on Outlook is sensitive maybe, but something which is like third-party applications. So that is okay. We can go for that, but we don't use for that. And one thing is by default is parked as a non-business. I'll show a demo that how it works, but when you create a new environment, you have to apply a policy also on the DLP as well. So I talk about about environments. Second thing, you have to apply a policy, what users can access, which connectors. So we talk about that shortly. And the third is a blocked one. Example, many organizations, they use OneDrive, sorry, so, Dropbox, or any other tools. So they mostly block all these third-party file storage applications like Dropbox or other applications. So they don't use it. So we have to block those particular things. So these are the something which we can work on that. Okay. Now, this is a sample that I can define a DLP policy using Dataverse and SharePoint. I don't use, I will be using my OneDrive. It's not important, but I will blocking all the social media or my premium connectors, because premium connectors are very expensive. So I want to block it. So this is the way you can define our policies inside there. Okay, let's give you a gist of what I meant and how we can define it. Okay, so let's go and where is my Power Platform console here? So here I define it. So I'm go to the Power Platform admin. I go to my data policies. Okay, you see that as one of the environment testing I did. So I click on the new policies, right? So I already have an environment. I want to define a policy on that environment. Okay, and I want to use only Salesforce or only SharePoint and Dataverse. Now I defined demo for India Summit. Okay, so this is my policy, and if somebody asks me, tell you that RO how many connectors we have in Power Apps and Power Automate, and these are all the connectors. Very easily you can just, rather than going Google and find, okay, where is the number of connectors? These are all the connectors you can access, 1000 plus, right? So now in my use case, I want to define that in my business, this is my SharePoint and business. These are more important. So I want to define these connectors as business, right? So I mentioned this also default is always there. A non-business is always there. So I click on non-business. You see, these are my connectors. So other applications like Outlook and OneDrive are okay. No issue with this. Approvals, no issue. Okay. And these I also have put into my business. Okay. But what about the social media things? Okay. So I just click on search for social media or search for Dropbox, maybe Dropbox. So I want to block it because many organizations doesn't want to make an end user confused that they can connect to the Dropbox. This is very common scenarios. So I want to block my connector to here. Okay. And these are all the connectors I can go for, right? Google Drive, maybe. Google Drive. I'm going to block it because my end user will get confused. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Somebody asked me a question. You can unmute yourself. Okay. No questions. Okay. I move forward. I can have some questions towards the end. Okay. So these are the things. And if you have a custom connectors, you can define a custom connector as well. You can define as a business or doesn't matter. So in my application, I don't have any custom connectors. It's okay. The important aspect is a scope. Okay. Now, Shruti will talk about the best practice on DLP, but I give you from the ground level. Don't put all the environment, all the DLP policy for all the environments. You can, but one thing I've seen from many use cases, because think about environment. One environment you put for finance team, right? And you defined policies that business, that only Salesforce and SharePoint are the core one. Maybe another environment you did for HR. Maybe they want to social media with that. So it will be very tough to create two different policies. So again, best to use one environment and one different policies for that. So easy to manage, right? So what I can do, I can define the policies and I define the environment. Then I can see, okay, this is the environment I can go for. I can go for 1, 2, these are environments. I click on to policies. Okay, so these environments, the dev and RO and developer environments, they have access, and I click on policies. Okay, one thing to highlight here that any policies you do, because we are working on the cloud, it may take half a day or 1 day roughly to get impacted. Okay, so if somebody create a new environment with Dropbox, right? It won't be impacted immediately. It takes some time, half a day or 1 day, right? So this is something very important to understand and take note for that. Okay, so that is I want to share about the DLP policies. Okay, and now about the one of the most important aspect, which is about the the backend security. Okay, and this is the part we are talking about, right? Dataverse security, which is one of the most crucial part. Okay. Now, what is Dataverse? I'd give you this thing. Dataverse is not a backend. It has lot of things. You can have apply security, which we see in the demo. You can apply logic. You have data. You can have a storage. You can have integration with many applications you can do. Okay. We talk about business units. So business units, you think as your departments, right? So I can define a business department, maybe one for finance, one for HR, one for management, right? One environment, one different DLP I can apply for that. Okay. So here we can see that this is the business units. We see in the demo as well. Second is a Teams. It's not Microsoft Teams. It's a Dynamics aspect, right? You can define associate a business unit with your AD group, your Entra ID groups. So it's most important that you always define a security group, not an individual user. This is very crucial. Okay, then you can apply a security role inside, right? And we can see in the demo soon on that. And then maybe your eyes may be crisscrossed here, but this is the way which Dynamics works and Dataverse works. So you have to apply permissions. The good thing is that you can give very fine-grained permissions. We can see in the demo. And another aspect is about the security roles. You can create just in SharePoint. You can create multiple permission levels, like we have owners, we have readers and editors. Same thing we can do, but here it's more granular. It's more you can easily fine tune what permission the user is, right? And there are many permissions you can go for. Okay, and these are the five more important permissions. I just give you the gist of that. So environment admin, just think about your global admin, right? So global admin have full access to entire environment. Now system admin is your environment owner. Think about I'm working for HR application environment, so he can create or she can create many environments. If that environment create applications and security role under that. So this is a slightly bigger role. System customization is something you can add permissions for that, right? Slightly bigger. So from here, the permissions go up, right? This is the highest one, and this is the lowest permissions. Okay. The maker is default. When you use a default environment, everyone in that environment have permissions to create applications, which is not good. It's a headache for IT. And the last one is called as a basic user. Again, if you know about SharePoint, we always put minimum permissions. So always try to give minimum permissions for your Dataverse. Very important, right? Don't give the admin or environment admin. Give basic user permissions. That is the most important for that. Okay. Now I give you a demo of the security. Then you can ask me questions for that. I know it's a very heavy topic. Security is always a huge topic, but I have to finish in few minutes. I just want to give you an aspect here. Okay, let's create. Go to my environment. I go to environment. I go to this environment. Now you see that I have a couple of things. I have business units. I have authentications for apps, users, teams, and security. We go for all the way. Click on business units. In the business unit, I can create a new business unit, right? Think about this is the HR. I assume this is HR department. I can create one more department called as a finance team. Okay, but they are under the same environment. So I can create a new business units under the same environments. It's very easy to manage it, but again, just give it just the way the Dataverse actually applications work. Okay, so here I don't have any much environment, so it's okay for me. And that is something which I want to show to you, that you can create multiple business units in one environment. Okay, that is Aro Shukla environment. Second thing, I can create something called as S2S, what is called as a server to server authentication. What I mean by that, I can give permissions to specific user. Okay, and I can also give a security role to him, right? So maybe I give this user, and I mentioned that 5 teams. You see that there's so many roles the user can have. So I want to give that user maybe a system admin role. System admin here is here, and give permission that. And I can give applications. These are my applications which I can give access to that. So in using S2S, you can give permissions as well. No issue with this. It's okay settings, but I think what I want to give you as a summary is that use the security role and the other permissions which I have shown to you. Teams don't give users. So maybe I have users. I have a couple of users. I can create anything. I can just. So these are all my users. I can add as many users inside, right? So just because this is my demo environment, so I have only one environment here. I just want to give that one. Okay, but you see that here there's no security group, but mostly from the best practices perspective, always create a teams that you can define your security group inside. So what I can do that this is my test. I was doing it. So just assume that somebody asked me that I want to give access to a security group for to finance environment. So what we have to do, you create a new team. inside your environment, and then I choose RO test for submit. Okay, and then basis unit is same, and I'm the user owner, and then I can define it as a security group. Okay, so the as a security group, I can give permissions. What role I can give permissions to you? So I can which group? Maybe I have a couple of groups here. So this is security group, right? So it could be your Office 365 group or or your Entra ID group, but you have to define groups. That is very, very crucial when you define a security on your environment. Very important part. Okay, I click on submit, and here I will give permission to that user what access. So I will that user a basic user. And I mentioned to you there is a minimum permissions the database can give. So I can give basic permissions. I can create. So I'm good with that, right? So you can see that it's a security group, and this is the permissions which I've given. So that's something very, very important for the users. And my last thing, I mean, it takes maybe some extra minutes here. Just want to
Uh,
give you,
Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt, or I think
yes.
we have passed quite a few of time. So if you could
Okay, no
conclude.
issue. So it's yeah, so
Thank you.
it's okay. Abhi, if you have any questions, you can ask me. But again, if you want to have a anything which you if you think is a confusing or any questions you have, you can just ask me questions now. Yes. Oh yeah, sorry, sorry. I just have 5 minutes. I was very excited to
Um,
share the things
uh,
with the user. Yeah,
Yeah, it was really great to see the interest in the audience and then URO. And thank you once again for sharing sharing these insights with our audience, and we're really thankful for you to coming down on a Saturday
sure.
and sharing your knowledge.
Yeah,
So
sure. Thank you.
all the participants, please feel free to reach out to Aro on the chat, tagging him, or you can go to LinkedIn and ask questions. He'll be available and will be able to answer it. So thank you once again, Aro, for presenting. And with that, we'll move on to our next speaker, Srishti. And Srishti has been doing really a lot in Power Platform space for quite a while. And then with that, I'll just hand it over to Srishti. If you could share your screen and your
Sure,
hearing.
Sumit. You can hear me?
Thanks. Yes, you are clear.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So I will
Uh,
just take over the screen. And before that, I'll also like to thank Aro because